And welcome to episode 4 of Sorry You're a Lot, the politics edition.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
This is stressful.
The politics edition?
Yeah. And my cloudy glasses.
Fine.
Oh, I just didn't have a microphone or cloth. Anyway, yeah, this is the politics
edition.
Because obviously, if you're in the UK,
General election next week.
big GE.
That's so much worse than
That's
Johnny Leck.
better than Jenny Leck. I'm sorry, Jenny Leck is disgusting.
No.
Jenny Leck makes to go because it's the Leck. If you said Jenny Lection, I'd be alright. Fine, it's annoying, but fine. But it's the Leck. It makes you feel like, oh, Leck.
It makes me think of like Fetch in Mean Girls.
Yeah, but fetch could happen.
It's never going to happen.
Jenny Leck.
I mean, Jenny
A
Leck.
lot of Jenny Leck has happened.
Yeah.
A lot of people use Jenny Leck, and it makes me stressed. Anyway,
Jenny Leck is coming. So literally, inside a little bit of information for our listeners and watchers is that we record this on a Tuesday to go out on a Friday. So it's currently the 25th. So got like a week and a bit.
Yeah. I was also really stressed about what you were about to tell you the secret was. I don't know why. It's not like we have these secrets, but I was like, what's the insider scoop you're about to say? I thought you were about to like drop like a vote or something, being right. The insider trading is telling us that you should vote X and X. No, I don't know why my mind went there.
Yeah, I mean, the insider trading is telling us that Labour's going to win by a landslide.
Sorry, that was. It makes it seem like I'm like for Tories and that stuff. So
Should we jump in? Should we jump?
Yeah.
I guess my sadness with the Jenny Leck is that I'm historically a Labour voter.
Yeah, same.
But this current assortment of the Labour Party feels like Tory light.
Yeah.
I cannot get behind Keir Starmer.
I cannot.
I
didn't really like him from the beginning, to be honest, but I think it was his face at first. And now it's his politics.
He's got that, like...
punchable face.
Smug man face.
Yeah.
You know?
And, okay. But also, do you not think as well, it's got worse since the announcement of general election? Because I think Labour has been so lazy.
Literally, I was just about to say, they believe it's in the bag.
He did like a whole video like after the general election was done, but like just in like a t-shirt and like jeans or something.
Okay, that doesn't really bother me.
No, but like I mean,
I'm not
like,
Keir Starmer wasn't suited up.
No, but I mean like as in you'd think like they're always like suited and booted. And you can't be like, oh, you can't be on my like everyone knew it was gonna happen. Like they would have known that. Like he purposely went with that decision, which is wrong. But that's not my problem. My problem is just general like the laziness of it, like the laziness of their like getting their manifesto out, the laziness of their interviews, the laziness of like being combative. Yeah, combative with like the Conservatives, but even like
although I will say, in every time that we've done anytime we've watched any of the like general election debates or like any of the leadership debates, it is well annoying. Like whoever the Tory person is, whether it's Rishi, whether it's like one of the little like
other ones,
backup people, you know, they have just kept going on about like Labour raising taxes and Labour how they're going to put your tax up by like £2,094 or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's a lie. It's not true. And also like Tories have raised our taxes, I think they said 26 times in the last like 14 years.
What's the where's the money?
Babe. What do you mean, where's the money?
Because this is generally what pissed me off, right?
It's gone to all the Tory spend.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Billions spent on
It makes me so angry. I even saw people online talk about this, right? That
parties.
I don't care about paying high taxes. It's annoying. I kind of feel like my money's going to waste, especially when you see the amount that's come out, right? But equally, I don't mind if it's working and things are actually running, right? I'm not talking about like, you know, long waiting times for like just getting a GP appointment, right? I'm talking in general, like
Yeah.
the functioning of things.
If stuff's doing what it should
Raise
be.
my taxes.
Yeah,
Fine. Like, I know that I don't understand that
Well-
companies are paying taxes. We're paying taxes. We're also paying taxes on the food. We're also paying, like, I still think taxes aren't, you know, like, right or not. Like, I wouldn't care if someone came with, like, increased taxes or whatever, right? It's the fact that nothing works and false promises have been done and things aren't being fixed and people are living, like, are just scraping by.
Well, I was gonna say
And
that.
you've got rich, like, conservative people being like, I don't know, what's like a price of milk? Like £4?
Yeah. In one of the debates, one of the people were like surprised about the cost of a bottle of olive oil. And I was like, I just want people running the
That's because
country.
he's got an olive oil tree.
But I want people running
he
the
stole.
country that understand that
Things are expensive.
things have become untenable for a lot of people
Yeah.
incredibly quickly over the last, I'm going to say 14 years, but particularly since the pandemic.
Yeah. But also, I don't mind you being a rich MP. I think rich people annoy me. But I don't mind you being wealthy where you have money. But you need to acknowledge
Yeah, not everyone lives like you.
the average person and the fact that even supposed middle class people are now, I know you were thinking when you were saying classed, I could see it in your eyes, you were like,
No.
classed.
No, it wasn't.
I've said that wrong a few times over the years. But like, I can see that, like, I want them to acknowledge that people are struggling and it's not just people who are like working class.
Well, yeah, the average salary in the UK is like, what, 26 grand?
I was saying this to Nan and she didn't believe me.
She didn't believe that the average...
That was the average salary.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like,
What did she think it was?
she said like 40 or something. 38 or something. And I was like, but no. I was like, but also, right, it annoys me as well that they do that average because that's actually probably a better average than it should be, because I personally think you should take out the people that earn over 80,000, even like maybe 70,000, 60,000, because it's making the average like higher.
But babe, it's not the 60, 70, 80,000 people that's skewing
It's
it.
bringing it up.
No, it's the people that earn, you know, over 150,000. Is that top 1%? Because they...
Yeah, but I'm saying all of them out. I'm not saying like...
But I think...
The billionaires can stay.
The 1%, it's so out of alignment with the rest of the country that I think it's something like the 1% combined make more money than everyone else combined. It's something like that. So
I just don't think they could be included in like the averages that are given.
But that's what I mean. So I think that 1% is so incredibly beyond your dreams wealthy that they totally skew it.
Because I also don't like how they do an average of UK stats in general with London stats included, and I don't think you can have London stats included with other areas of the UK.
It's not comparable, is it?
Because you just can't. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I'm not even saying it because London's stupid expensive, right? But I'm talking about even like...
I'm thinking about my London mortgage.
No, 100%, but like London is stupid expensive, right? But it's unfair to make it about London when these MPs are supposed to be like for the whole of like the UK, right? Yeah. So like, I just don't agree. Oh, England. Is it Scottish as well?
No. Yeah. The general election is for
everyone. Right. Learn something new every day. But I just don't think you should have...
It's okay, it's because the year is on. So
yeah, it's all messed up. But I just don't think that you should have like the London and the rest of the UK kind of like comparative. Because also it annoys me because when you talk about wages, they use London to skew it, and they ignore London living wage, and they ignore because there's that increase. I know there's not much of an increase. It's not like people in London are just like swimming in it, because obviously the reason we're paid that much is because you know, the cost of living in London is more expensive. But what I'm saying is that the average shouldn't have that included, because people get paid less and you're not including all of the facts.
Well, yeah, it's not really so much about the income as much as it is about the cost of living, right?
Yeah.
Like, what was your last nursery? Noah was there like 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And like, you're paying like what? Like,
it was like £400 for 1 day. And I also had to obviously bring in like nappies, wipes, snacks, which I don't really mind like bringing snacks and stuff, but like she was screaming and crying and going there every day. And I had taxi childcare, which was great, but obviously saved just like 20 cents. So we pay like £3.80, I think. But that's still like a substantial amount of money for 1 day a week.
Yeah, so say she was there full time, that's £2,000.
Yeah.
Before you've actually earned any money.
Well, we're so lucky now to be in the nursery that we're in, because it's a public nursery, and we pay for her tea club, breakfast club, like, and even they get a bit shy, because obviously this is kind of from a privileged space, right, where we're both working, and we only have one child, and higher than the normal salaries, I guess, for like the average of people in our area maybe, but they're coming to us and they're looking a bit like shy, asking for like snacks to be brought in from people, or they're looking a bit shy asking for donations for the children's centre and things like that, right? And obviously I'm like, don't even worry about it. Like, I'm like, go ahead. Like, they did Soccer Aid recently, and it was like, it's totally okay if you don't have the money for it. Like, say this obviously to everyone, and I'm like, don't even worry, because obviously I'm come from that nursery that was just like stupidly expensive, and that was a bill that was just coming out.
Yeah.
And now she loves it, so I'm like, almost like, here, take that one. You can have it. I don't even mind. But like, it's just obviously coming from a very privileged set, because there's people who cannot afford that. But I also don't mind, like, almost like paying for others, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because obviously we've got a space here. We're incredibly lucky to have the space that we got in, and even the hours that we got in. And a lot of people don't have that. But I don't understand the point where I was going with this. But childcare is stupidly expensive.
Yeah, it's just...
And people so the cost of
the
living in London.
Yeah. But I think in general, I don't think nursery is a London-centric problem.
Oh, no. It's childcare in the UK.
Is extortion.
Like, I think they say it's now the most expensive in the world.
It's comparable with rent.
Like, it's crazy.
But like, and I think also, like, so I mean, it's been a minute since I worked in house, but when I worked in house, one of the people that I managed, she had come back from maternity. She'd like left her old job, and then applied to work with us from maternity leave. So this was her first kind of
roll back into it.
Yeah, she was making £50 less than her childcare bill.
Yeah. That's insane.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
But she did it because it was pension contributions and NI contributions.
Yeah.
Because she had a master's in design.
Yeah.
And didn't want to...
And also people like really go after mums, especially I think, for any time out that they've had from work, but equally don't actually want you in work because you're like taking all this time off, whatever.
That wasn't my point there, but okay.
But you know what I mean? Like she wants to have the job, even if she just wants to have, like, she's making less money for all of these reasons and all of those contributions. But even if she just wanted, to have something out of it,
well, she just wanted.
It's just insane.
She'd spent all of this time at uni. She had this big, massive portfolio. She didn't want those skills to go to waste.
Yeah.
She loved design. She wanted to do something that she was good and passionate about. But
I think
that cost her £50 every month.
Yeah. I think a good segue...
Beyond her.
Because obviously one of the reasons that where we were looking for nurseries, it had to be cheaper than because we were only looking for 1 day at the first anyway. It had to be cheaper than my day pay, because otherwise I'll just not work that day.
Yeah.
But obviously, again, a very privileged situation to be in. But also not so, because there's a lot of people who...
Although, did you calculate it based on your contributions?
What do you mean?
Were you thinking
It
about...
was just my salary, it wasn't bringing any sales in.
No, but I mean, were you thinking, okay, literally, if I go to work that day, I will make £83, but it will cost me £78 to send Nora? Or were you saying, okay, I'll make £83, £2.50 will go into my pension for that day?
I did not give a shit about pension.
Just because...
But like any of the outside, I literally was looking at it categorically.
Because I think this is the issue that working mums can fall into.
Yeah.
You're choosing now.
Yeah.
Over later.
Yeah. And obviously this is an ADHD problem as well. I will always choose the now over the later. But I do think as well, a lot, like,
it's not
that's
not just a you problem.
Yeah,
That's a decision that working parents are forced
Well, this is
into.
why I like the charity Pregnant and Screwed, because they go through all of this stuff. I think this is a good key segue into government, like parties. And one of the good things that the Tories have done recently was the childcare thing. The proposal, the execution, awful, because so many childcare places were like, you've now just told us that we're having to give, like, it's, you don't get enough money for each child anyway. We don't have the space. We don't have the room. That's now like so many more parents that are going to come to us. But obviously I am one of the benefiters of the new scheme that came into place. I know that Nora only just started reading the benefits, but like for our next child, for instance, if we have one, like that'll be like a huge thing. And I know that some parties have kind of said, like for instance, Labour said they're going to stick to it. But then you've got other parties that are saying they're going to scrap it or they're going to go for a new thing. And I feel like the proposal is good. I think you do need to have it from a younger age if you want to bridge the gaps in employment, but also just for like mental health purposes, just for also the education of children, just for in general, because I think there's so many people who benefit from it. However, obviously the execution was awful.
And I think
they just dumped it and they haven't even properly got it out yet.
And the problem is, you know, you see it as like free and funded hours.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Yeah. Yeah. Because all of them say is like, oh, but you got tax-free childcare. Because that was before this came in, right? It was you got tax-free childcare. And then the 3 hours, obviously, in the new scheme, or even with the old scheme, so from September, I would have 30 hours. If I was with a private nursery, that wouldn't have mattered. When it was looking at the nursery that we were at before, to get the 15 free hours that we were supposed to start in April anyway, it ended up being you'd still have to pay the same amount.
Yeah.
But Nora would be going an extra day.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't charge the same. And doesn't give you the right things. But now she's at a nursery that's like rated outstanding, gets that funding. They're also like, you know, super inclusive and like a really like good like pillar nursery in the community. And like it just doesn't compare.
I was like, where are we going with this?
Like, I just don't understand. I think so many people get stuck with nurse because there's just nothing here. So the execution was just awful. They've just dumped all these hours. People have ended up using these hours to basically get an extra day.
Well,
it's still costing the same. It's not saving anyone money.
Like, in theory, right? If we start trying at some point, we have a tiny human. In theory, if the scheme comes in and it sticks, we should have funded childcare from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I also don't know how that's actually going to work in Clapham, where it's so unbelievably expensive. I can't imagine it will actually be fully funded.
Well, if you go public, it will be.
Yeah, but like...
But the waiting list, they're all closing. There's nothing. Even like the grants and stuff for childminders and things. Like, I just think there are so many ways that it could have been fixed. And this also leads on to, I think, really well into like jobs and like immigration, because I think what a lot of people fail to understand or appreciate is how much of our shortage in services like the NHS or childcare or even hospitality is made up from people who are not British.
I think what's wild, right, is so many people, either I've seen kind of content around the general election or even around things like Gaza, Congo, Sudan. People have been like, oh, I'm not political, so I'm not, I'll lean back because I'm not political. But people don't realise that politics touches your entire life.
Yeah.
How much the cost, how much a loaf of bread costs.
Well, how much gas and electricity?
Yeah.
That's political.
The energy crisis, political.
Like, if you look
COVID,
at manifestos,
political.
everything in these manifestos that you read through, that shows you how much everything is political. The fact that these different parties are talking about, like, energy crisis, they're talking about the cost of living, they're talking about, like, policing, they're talking about the NHS, that shows you that everything is...
Yeah. Like, babe, if you want to opt out,
like,
just say, like...
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not actually interested. But don't say it's not political.
Yeah.
Because everything is.
I also find, though, that a lot of people... So, actually, okay, so this is a good thing. So, you know Lucy, right? So they had a thing that was people could design. And I was actually talking this with one of my friends, right? So they could design a Lucy thing. And someone made... I didn't actually see it.
Right?
Yeah. Someone made one, I believe, with the Palestinian flag or Palestinian design, right? I didn't actually see it, but I just saw the comments because that was my friend sent me, just the comments of it. And people were saying like, oh, this is ridiculous. You're making it political. This is supposed to be like like the brand is supposed to be loving and fun and like for everyone, and you've made it political. And like both me and my friend were just saying like, but everything is political. Also, Lucy Yak's entire brand.
Yeah, it's about being ethical. It's about paying workers fairly.
Yeah,
it's about the
they've just done a
inclusion.
whole thing for Pride Month.
Yeah.
They've done, like, every company that does anything for Pride, it's political. Pride is political. Like, using that to keep followers or gain followers, whatever, is political. Also, making a stand...
Well, the performance.
Yeah, but even if you generally are like for inclusivity for everyone, like even mentioning outwardly that you are in support of LGBTQ plus community, that's a political statement.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, choosing to be inclusive.
I just don't understand how people, especially people who are buying Lucy Yak, when the brand is the way it is.
But and this is unfortunately where white feminism falls down.
100%. Falls down or just fails?
Well, I was putting it politely.
Yeah.
Like, there can't be feminism without intersectionality.
Yeah.
It just can't exist anymore. Like, you don't get away.
You just can't have feminism without diversity.
But you can't get away with being like, oh, I'm for the girls anymore.
Yeah.
Prove
it.
Yeah.
Show me.
Like, do you mean the white girls?
Yeah. Because that's what because also, right, like, you can have ownership on this, right? Like, you can be for the girls, right, and have ownership what white feminism is, right? And also have the ownership that you're more sympathetic, your brain is more sympathetic to people who look like you, right?
Yeah.
So that's why when the war with Russia and Ukraine happened, everyone was like, even literally the news was saying like, but look, all these white people. Like, I remember actually seeing an interview that was talking about it and was like, yeah, but this isn't a third world country. This is our neighbor. And it was like, you've just said that.
Yeah.
You with your conscience have said that. And I just think that should be ownership that you do feel more sympathetic to someone who looks like you, and you should be doing the work to feel sympathetic for all humans.
Well, look,
sympathetic and empathetic. So yeah, like, I just think sympathetic and empathetic.
But look, like, we can see it play out, right? We can see, so, Ukraine, Russia, white people all over the news.
Yeah.
We see Gaza have tiny little segments on the news.
Mm.
Yeah.
Not even.
No, it is. It is on the news.
Now. Like...
No, babe, I've been watching it the whole way through. It's on ITV News pretty much every single night. Has been for the last 6, 7, 8 months. But you don't see anything about Congo. You don't see anything about Sudan.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's like the darker your skin gets, the less airtime.
Oh, yeah. That's literally what it is.
Like, I don't think you have to think too critically to see that.
Well, I don't know if it's because I'm more aware of media and, like, how they are basically trying to fool people, right? I don't know if it's because I'm more aware or if it's becoming more obvious. The blatant, like, racism. Like, now when I'm seeing people, especially when you can see the parallels between the Ukraine and Russia and, like, any of the genocides happening, Palestine, Sudan, Congo, if you're looking at that, then you can see the blatant, obvious, like, disregard. Like, I don't know if it's because I'm just more aware of it or if it's an actual thing. But even when you see Israeli ministers, and it was when Iran had retaliated and flown missiles in, and they were like, well, look where we're so close to, I think it was Jerusalem. Well, look, Jerusalem's just there, and innocent lives could have been killed. And I was like, you said that full with your chest. Like, you really said that with your chest. And then also you've got people, so I'm watching New Amsterdam at the moment, right? I've just got back into it. And it's completely irrelevant, but basically unrelated. But he was talking about like climate change and like making things better, right? And the conclusion of the episode was people are all for change until it inconveniences their life.
Yeah.
And I do believe that the comparison between Congo, Sudan and Palestine is, even though all three are genocides, I do think, you know, when it comes to the Palestinian defense, like going for them, right, it's easier to do that because actually nothing is affecting your life too much. Like, for instance, Congo and Sudan, like your iPhones, your phones, like boycotting these actually massive companies, like people aren't super keen on doing that. They'll say they are, but they don't actually. And I think that's like a big comparison. Whereas boycotting things like McDonald's or Starbucks, it's things that are like they're not essentials, they're not necessities, right? But it is easier to do than to boycott Apple or Samsung or Tesla or Amazon. Like, it's just, again, it's just as much, people will do as much as they can without actually harming their lives. I do think all three are awful, tragic, horrible things, and I think all three deserve attention and light. And it is exactly what you say, is the darker your skin, the more separated people are.
Yeah.
And also, just...
I think it's really interesting also, like, the companies, Starbucks, for instance, you don't really have to pull at the thread too hard to be like, what a shit company.
Yeah.
You know, look at their workers' rights, their contribution to tax in the UK. Like, look at how they treat their people.
Yeah.
Then are you surprised how they treat...
100%.
So...
But again, people are very much like...
But I mean, like, even boycotts, like, if someone's doing one shit thing, they're probably going to be doing a shit thing somewhere else in their company.
And I don't know why there's such a difference between the companies and, like, people, because you, like, I don't know how many celebrities you met, right? But if you have a bad experience with one of them, right, most people will just be like, I can't even watch that TV show. I can't even listen to that song. I can't even do, because I met them once and it was a shit experience, right? That's one thing, but then you're seeing that almost daily, maybe the rise of social media, but like you're seeing live accounts of people being like, oh yeah, like Starbucks fired me because I gave them bad press. Like I didn't even say bad press. I said a video about Starbucks. It wasn't even a bad thing. I just said I worked there and they fired me. Like even just, or like paying taxes and things like that. So like you don't even have to get like political with it. Like you don't have to go into what they believe in. You could just go on the actual way they are running their running their company. Like I just segue into this.
Back to
in
active politics.
Like I just think that like similar to boycotts, I think people are now getting more into actually trying to get like the Conservative Party out, but also not super keen on Keir Starmer. And he's probably messed it up, not just because of his manifesto being shocking, but also because of where he stands on world issues.
Yeah, I feel like...
Especially coming from a humanitarian lawyer, which is what I had someone say to me recently.
And like when you hear him talk about his background and...
He sounds like a decent guy.
He sounds like he should be a good guy.
Except he looks like a weasel and he has one.
Except he acts like the worst.
He's basically like high-fiving Sunak behind himself, being like, oh, these Tories, like...
I'm so torn. I'm so torn.
About who to vote for?
Yeah.
Or like
just in general, I feel really split. No, I feel like maybe I'll go Lib Dem. I feel like I was right in the middle of like, you know, like 2010. I was at uni. It was the first time that I was like ultra politically aware, and like Lib Dem looked great back then. And you know, Nick Clegg fucked it. They got into bed with the Tories, and they just were annihilated.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like can't really hold against them when they were a minority 14 years ago. It's kind of like I also feel like when you hear
kids never talk.
when you hear like Ed Davey, or you hear what's her name, Daisy Cooper,
potentially
something.
I'm terrible at names.
It's a bright pink suit lady. They sound like normal people. Like
more willing to be relatable and more willing to look at the actual stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
Than just being like...
Don't get me wrong, they're probably still well wealthy. They're probably still
that's the thing as well,
totally detached from regular life. But they don't seem it. They don't...
And the policies that they are putting forward in their manifesto...
Yeah.
...are coming with a place that is affecting the worse off... people, and not so much just like
I'm so fucking done with trickle down economics.
Also,
we've got a bill
done with people being like, oh, we're gonna tax the rich more, and then just not doing it. Labour was so for like taxing the rich, and then like in the last couple of years has been like, oh no, when did we say that? It's crazy.
Imagine you are so incredibly... Imagine you live in the ton.
Yes. Love a vibe.
You don't have to work.
Yeah.
You don't actually work. Your money just makes you money. Your assets just make you money. You pay less tax than someone that goes out to actively earn money and contributes to society.
Well, so I saw a thing that was like the worst pay to be on is like 90,000 or something, or 100,000, like maybe 80 or 90,000. I can't remember. Like it didn't seem like stupidly high, but also it didn't seem like stupidly low. But because of the way the tax gets them, maybe it's above 70. Potentially above 70. But also the way that the childcare was working.
100. So at 100,000,
but I'm sure that it was like 70,000 for childcare. Anything above 70, if one person if one adult earned over 70,000, like childcare, like that wasn't free or
I
something.
think that's been raised to 100.
Yeah, now it's a new thing. But I meant like in general.
But it also at 100,000, you lose your 12.5 grand tax rate.
Yeah.
101 or something.
Yeah.
You lose your 12 grand.
Doesn't mean it's like the worst off one. How is it someone who's on like a wealthier, like I can't even imagine.
No.
thinking
I mean,
that's like crazy. But I can't imagine being like worse.
That's multiple times my income.
Like it's just
But
mental.
that's more than Scott and I make combined. But still, that's not ludicrous amounts of money, right? Like that's
No.
probably what some of our middle range doctors, that's consultants, that kind of person, high up people in private companies, software engineering type people. Like it's not like you're not a millionaire.
Yeah. I just like it just blows my mind that someone who is a billionaire or a millionaire, even a millionaire, like is just not paying as much tax. But also you don't see that. I don't understand. You don't see in that money.
Yeah.
You're like similar to how I feel about tax, right? When it comes straight out my paycheck, right? Obviously, I know that you probably can do the same, but I don't see it, right? I don't see the actual
involvement.
I don't see the actual physical. I don't see it. I see it on my payslip, but I barely check as well, which is terrible. But like, I mean, it's kind of like Garma free money. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not even there.
Let me tell you, when you have to actually pay your tax.
But I mean, like, I don't feel it, right? So I'm relating myself to the rich billionaires who aren't seeing it, who don't care, who's just having someone else pay it for them. Like, I know what, I know if I actually had to do it. I didn't even earn any money when I was like when I was freelance, and yet still doing a tax return. I didn't even have anything to do tax return on, but I was like,
honestly, I think in January, after I paid my tax bill, it felt like part of me had died. Like it was,
oh no,
goodbye thousands of pounds.
But like the fact that you have to pay tax in general is terrible. Tax the rich.
Tax the rich.
But I just I don't understand why it's a big thing. And well, I do understand it's because all their friends are rich and they don't want to, and they are rich.
Well,
they don't want to tax themselves or their friends. And money influences politics and always has.
Yeah.
But also I don't understand why I'm just doing, because they like, it's such a quick win for so many political parties. Like it really is.
But I guess it's not when you look behind the curtain, right? Because you see these like.
Yeah, but how many people are?
But imagine, even our friend Ed Davey, who seems relatable. He's on this morning wearing his new linen suit, cute.
Love a linen suit.
He honestly look cute. He should change it up. But imagine his friends are going to be donors. They're going to be wealthy businessmen.
Yeah.
It's
even the donations you have to have got to be able to run.
It's not. It's so like
it's all mixed.
The promises they make to get to the positions.
Yeah.
They get to, right? Like,
well, I guess this is something that bugs me, right? Is when I look at the manifestos of people, right? And I see all the promises, it's very hard to trust them, especially if you just look at the most recent experience with Brexit and all of the lies, like the
Fragrant is something else.
Yeah, but both are wrong in this situation. The really big lies, like they made and they promised all these things and just never delivered. And then also seeing manifestos from Labour that have been brought out through the years that are meant to be like combative towards the Conservative Party and just aren't, or Labour promising to tax the rich and now going against it, or having like an eco
or a massive U-turn on climate change.
Yeah, like having a green
initiative.
Chucked in the big. Yeah, exactly. So all of these things that people are just like, do you know what I mean?
I feel like Labour, in the lead up to this year, have been like, let's just go middle of the road. let's just get in. Let's
they don't want to go against anything. They don't want to rock any boats.
No, they're
they
just
don't want to
like,
say anything against the Tories.
they want to hang out in the middle.
Yeah.
They don't really want to stand. It's Hamilton, you know.
Which is kind of
If you don't
worked.
stand for anything, what are you
here for?
What are you for?
But like, I think, but that's how they've gained followers from people mainly who were conservative voters.
Yeah.
Because they now don't like conservatives, and they can see that Labour's are different,
Yeah.
and it's like cool to vote Labour.
My favourite thing is when the Tories are like, we're going to have 8,000 more police officers. Did I say 8,000 more?
Yeah.
8,000 more police officers than like 10 years ago. And you're like, babe, that was you. You were the ones that cut them all. Like,
But also,
what do you mean? It was you.
I think this is where it also annoys me with manifestos, because they're supposed to be these detailed reports on how you're going to do things, right? And there's just not, and it's in all of them. Like, I think the Green Party is actually the only one who actually gave like a kind of, for their costing, they gave a reason for costing. But I mean, like, everyone's kind of just
I
on
don't
it
know.
going, I'm going to give more.
I don't know. I think the Labour Party have costed theirs.
Yeah, but it's like, there's things that fall through the gaps, like, and don't make sense.
Like what?
Why are you going to quiz me right now?
Sorry.
Very
So-
vaguely, because I looked at it and then I wrote down, and now my remarkable is like dying. It is on 4%.
Just because like so I know that housing was a big thing where they were like, how are you going to fund it? And ultimately they're going to borrow. They're going to, because they're proposing to build more private rent schemes.
But like,
So
yeah,
they're borrowing up. It's capital. There's not money that they're going to take through taxes. Ultimately, they're going to have developers lend and then make the money back or whatever. You know, it's.
But when I say about like, I mean of like staff as well. Like even just like making, like bringing back like more NHS workers and GP practices and police and childcare workers. When I was saying costing, I was like, the Green Party has obviously gone with the biggest thing was like tax the rich. But I meant like, even if they're doing the borrowing stuff, it was fresh, like it was almost like fresh money instead of making us more in debt, because we're in so much debt right now.
But I think like there are certain taxes that are going to go up under Labour.
Well, there's loads.
Apparently.
And they're not making any cuts at all. Labour have said they're not doing any tax cuts, and actually it's probably going to go up in the next year or so, apparently to fix the mistakes of the Tories. I just think that Labour in particular, like you said, have just gone like middle of the road, very lazy, don't really care. I think other parties have kind of
I think
noticed that and jumped on it.
Labour just know that they're the main opposition.
Yeah.
Like I think yesterday they were
just so ridiculous.
They were 20 points ahead in the polls.
Like, what's the point of having all these?
They were like, already in the bag.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Well, like even the fact that the tactical voting website was even created to go against the Tories, right? And it's to get like Labour in, like just to make sure. Well, it's to get whoever is the biggest opposition for the Tories is to get them out, right? But now, like, we need a tactical voting thing to get also Labour not in either. But that doesn't come up to it.
I mean, that would
because
be...
they're like the lesser of two evils, right? But I don't actually see that anymore. I don't see them as the lesser of two evils.
I feel
like it's on par.
I feel like if we didn't do first past the post for a start, we'd have a better... But also, I'm sure that we had a proportional voting referendum like back in like 2010 and like the show up for it was really shit, and 2010 2011 2012 that kind of time.
The amount of people who don't vote kind of
it's crazy.
Like, I don't really get it.
Like I think the last election
Also, don't most people get like a day off for it?
No,
we've seen that.
No.
Like in like bigger companies, not like normal. I'm not talking about like working class people, they all have to work, but I mean like you have time, like even where I work, you have to be able to go out. If you're working that day, you have to be able to leave and go and vote.
why would you get the day off? The
Personal day off, like you get the time to go vote. You have to be able to do it.
But
I'm saying, but there's like offices and stuff.
But the polling stations are open like
Also, you might get the day off
6 till 10.
Like, for
sure.
instance, Nora's nursery
If you work in that school.
is the voting. Here's the polling station, and now someone needs to look after her.
Okay, imagine you don't know who to vote for. Let's do a quick fire.
Yeah.
Tories.
No.
No, I saw.
Oh, I thought you were asking me.
No. I thought you were gonna. I thought you were
ready.
gonna do like a quick rundown.
Oh, okay, cool. What are like the manifestos?
Yeah.
Okay. Tories are shit. They're racist. They don't do anything but benefit the rich. I don't know what I'm always saying.
Cool. Labour.
They're just for rich white people,
Yeah.
essentially. But then they get like token people of color to like step in.
It's
and be
actually-
like, look, we have all the, like, okay, why is Swella Braverman there? Apart from to be like,
But this is
we don't mind registered.
But this
people who
is the
come
thing
over.
in the UK. Our issue isn't just race; it's class.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
Like if you're like,
look
well,
at Rishi.
we still care.
Yeah,
We still care about the color of your skin,
but you're like one of the good ones.
but we don't care as much if you have money.
Yeah, not just money, class.
Yeah, but class.
Not necessarily. Because think about footballers.
Yeah, fuck it.
They can be really wealthy, but still working class.
I don't think that's true.
It is true.
You can't be working class and earning millions.
But it also kind of depends on your background, you know? It's not just...
Yeah, but if you have that much money, you're not going to be hanging out with the little people anymore.
No, but that's not what it's about. It's about how you've been raised. It's how you've been socialised.
Yeah, 100%. But there's a lot of people who get given a lot of money and then they go, what background?
But you can't...
When I say Marcus Rashford isn't included in this, you could add all the money you like.
But just class, money and race on...
Okay. They benefit rich, upper class people. The Tories.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Reform are... that I can't even say that they're Tories. Because people are saying, oh, they're just Tories in disguise. They're not Tories in disguise.
No,
They're like BNP in disguise. They are just... They're not even in disguise.
No,
They're just like, hey...
reformed UKIP.
We're super racist, horrible people, but actually if you call us racist, we're going to combat you, but also talk about how we need to get all these immigrants out and not let them in anymore. But equally, they need to come in and work for us as doctors.
But don't bring your
nurses.
family.
We don't bring any, like you have to leave at the end of the day. You have to get back on your boat and go.
Yeah.
And also get rid of all the Muslims and send them back to Islamistan.
Cool. Lib Dems.
Someone actually said that, by the way, in an interview.
Believe it.
Lib Dems,
Green.
Well, no, I haven't finished. You should say something about Lib Dems because you know more about them than I do. Their manifesto is definitely like one of the better ones. I do think, like you have mentioned that they're on the up and up.
I think
I don't see it as much. I see that they're on the up and up with maybe millennials and boomers. I don't think they're on the up and up with the lower.
There's been some...
No, the lower generation.
I think there's been some criticism of the Lib Dems that they're not going to get it. They're not going to win. They're just going to maybe become, more opposition.
Yeah.
So have they created a wish list rather than an actual manifesto? Like,
Yeah.
blue sky thinking this is what they do.
Yeah. However, some of their things do check out.
And also, do you know what? If that's your wish list, I'm on board.
And also as well, like, to an
Although,
extent.
sorry,
On board to an extent.
there are also... I haven't checked this out, so this is unsolicited information. There are...
Unverified.
Unverified. I don't...
Racist in there.
No, I don't know how inclusive. I'm sure there's some stuff around trans rights that the Lib Dems are, but I'm not totally sure.
Yeah.
That's something I've just heard
not totally sure.
murmurings of, and that's not my vibe.
I mean, to be fair, Labour are just racist, so you wouldn't have thought that. But look at how they treated Diane Abbott. They didn't even let her speak.
Yeah.
When an MP has gone directly against her and called her all these horrific things, and then just haven't.
Yeah.
Like,
And then left her hanging for however long.
and they're supposed to be inclusive and diverse,
Yeah.
and yet the math isn't mathing.
Yeah.
Um,
Greens.
Green, I believe that they're on the up and up. In my personal opinion, and also what I've seen online from younger generations and the people in my circle, is Greens were never really a straightaway option. It was more like if you didn't know who to vote for. I think this is more for millennials, our generation, but like more like a last option. I do think that the younger generation are very like eco warriors, but they're also super smart and super intelligent, and they're doing a lot more tactical voting. And it's kind of that Green were never really seen as an opposition. So it was almost like a wasted vote if you voted for them.
Was I just
Like the way that it was written, like it's like a wasted vote. Like you can, like the way, you know, like the Conservatives and the Tories make it out, not Conservatives and the Labour, they make it out. And was it really correct? That it's like a two-party system that you have to have like one, like you have to find one or the other, right? Whereas I think now Green is looking like a more of a viable option, especially recent debates where they've been like very outspoken on world issues, not just seen as like eco-conscious or like for the people.
So my two things to say is one, it was only when like the Lib Dems fucked themselves that it became so two-party. You know, Lib Dem used to be up there as a third option, and then the tuition fees thing just absolutely...
I do kind of remember that.
It just fucked them.
I think even Nan was like...
Yeah, it fucked them, absolutely fucked them. And it still comes up, like, how can we trust you? You said you would scrap fees.
That's what people say about Labour as well. But they go back like way before the Tories, and then they're like, look what you did.
Yeah.
And you're like...
Yeah. The other thing I will...
If you say that about the Tories, then it's not...
The other thing I will say is, from my perspective, the Greens have the same amount of fans interest.
No, I'm seeing a definite increase.
But because like it's not like they've never held a seat. You know, they're down in Brighton, and I think they've had some success in Bristol. Like, and they've always been although they're the Green Party and they're very climate focused, they have always been very social. They have always been left like lean in, working class strong. But because people
again do see it as like a opposition
because they're not one of the big ones.
I think their manifesto has come out quite strong though, and obviously they're reaching the audiences that they want to reach and bridging the gap that Labour is not getting to anymore because of everything that's happened. Like the way Keir Starmer has just not been upfront with anything or tried. Even like the other Labour MPs, what's her name? Ginger one.
Angela Rayner.
Yeah, like she's typical white feminist.
But we've got a...
Sorry, yeah. And did we do reform?
Yeah.
Hate them.
Yeah. Anyway, vote. Whoever you vote for.
But there's no... Oh, there's independent people.
But we do not have...
No, we're not going to go into independent people. But I think I've said this to you a few times. There is a trend going on with people who don't know much about politics. Like, I don't know much about politics, but I still like look into it, right? There's a trend going in where people really love Jeremy Corbyn and they think that he will be the Prime Minister if they vote independent. And that is not true. I've seen a couple of people actually speak, like big creators actually speak on this, because there's actually alarming about people that say, just vote independent. No, if you live in Islington North, you can have Jeremy Corbyn as your MP as an independent person, but not everybody who is independent is going to be in a party with Jeremy Corbyn, and he will not be Prime Minister.
Yeah.
And basically you need to vote. You need to exercise
whoever you vote for.
Tax the rich.
The final thing to say is that really, whoever you vote for, Labour are probably going to win it.
Yeah.
So vote with what best reflects you, but vote. We fought really hard to get the votes, not only as women in the suffragette movement, but even just regular working class people. They haven't been able to vote for that long.
Or even people who are on a visa, right?
Yeah, so this is your chance to have a say.
Next week, we're going to be talking about whatever we want. We don't actually know yet. Maybe the takeaway from... No, we don't even know yet.
No, the election won't have happened yet.
Cool. So maybe we'll talk about something random.
Yeah.
We'll decide. We'll let you know on socials.
Well,
anyway.
Maybe I'll do a cute little poll.
Yeah.
This or that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Thank you so much for everyone that's coming along on this journey with us. It has been a wild ride.
Making time ending. Thank you for this. The politics episode is the last one. Ladies.
That's not what I'm saying. Just like, you know,
You've come on this wild ride.
It's
over now.
Our 8 YouTube subscribers want to feel included.
So, but after Scott's feedback.
Anyway, thank you for watching.
Hope we've helped.
Yeah.
Some sort, or even just you came along for the bitching sesh.
Love you, bye.
From Victoria's.
Yeah. Right.
Say bye.
Love you, bye.